You might be asking yourself, well, what is an accounting information system? Well, simply defined, it's a system that records, processes, and reports on transactions to provide financial and non-financial information to make decisions and have appropriate levels of internal controls for those transactions. The days of accountants simply booking entries and running reports are somewhat in the past. Today's accountants are they're looked at more and more as business analysts. So yeah, increasingly the role of an accountant is to help address business opportunities, as the slide says. And to address such a business opportunity, the accountants need to decide what information is needed. Accountants will have tons of data at their fingertips. The question is, will that accountant be able to pull out the data that will give the company a competitive advantage? Successful companies such as Starbucks have been able to do just this. While I was a controller out in industry, I worked closely with all aspects of our organization: human resources, marketing, sales, and costing. And the reason being is that I could assist or provide each department with data pertinent to them and the decisions that they were facing to run a successful department. This data was definitely at my fingertips within the accounting information system. So here's that definition that we ran through with accounting information systems. And in AIS, it's important because it provides information that companies are required to have and also information that can be used to make important decisions. So, it's important that you could step out in front of your competitors, but it's also going to be necessary to comply with government regulations. Whether you're simply compiling data to file your tax returns with the IRS for maybe just a small business, or if you're complying within a highly regulated industry. Internal controls are also possible within an accounting information system, which as businesses grow are increasingly important. If the company you work for someday is publicly traded, your internal controls will be tested and verified as required by the Securities and Exchange Commission. So why study AIS? Well, it is fundamental to accounting. Whenever you start a new position, whether it be with your existing employer or a new one altogether, investing time in understanding how the AIS works will be time well spent. When I worked in the financial institution industry and we were hiring a new entry-level accountants, applicants who had prior experience as tellers seemed to always make it to the top of our list. Well, why, you might ask? Well, that's because they'd be able to grasp how our data flowed through our accounting information system from beginning to end much easier than a candidate that had no teller experience. So again, accounting is an information producing activity. So accountants should understand how the system provides that information, how it's designed, implemented, and used, how the financial information is reported, and how information is used to then make decisions. Having a good understanding of the data flow will also allow for efficient troubleshooting when accounts are out of balance. Earlier on, I mentioned Starbucks as just one very successful company. Starbucks is very strategic in compiling and utilizing data such as replenishment, financing, record keeping, hours versus customers, etc. Another company that reaps the benefits of keeping a mindful eye on costs is Walmart. Whether they're getting a positive or negative press for their strategies, the point is that they're utilizing the information available to them to create strategic advantages. Let's take a look at a simple information system. In this case, it's a point of sale cash register at Starbucks. Every time a sale is entered into the cash register, data is being collected on the details of the sale. What type of coffee was purchased? What time of day was it? Was additional food items purchased with the coffee? Did the customer buy maybe more than one coffee? Based on the credit card used, can the system pull up a history of that particular customer's purchase? So we see on here a simple little flow chart of possible input being sales at Starbucks. Our possible storage is this database of all the sales at Starbucks and all that data that I just ran through. So if we wanted to process some of that data, we could run a query and ask maybe what sells best at night. And then the output would be that report telling us what does actually sell best at night. Okay, so, we can use this to our advantage, and we can answer questions that maybe are very profit driven. Maybe management is tracking the specialty coffee that has the highest profit margin. Is this drink more likely to be sold in the morning or the evening? Based on what we're able to pull from the AIS system, it could launch in some very different marketing campaigns, just as an example. So this is just a quick overview of what is AIS and why is it important. So thanks for joining me.